We moved to a new town when I was 9 years old. One of the first people that I met was a male in my community. He would make comments about how I looked and that I was beautiful, and he made me feel special. I remember that I went to his house. The next time that I talked to him, he pulled out a folder of pictures of kids and they didn't have any clothes on. He mentioned that this is how God made these children and that they're beautiful, and he thinks I'm more beautiful than these kids. He let me kind of hide myself under a sheet and take my clothes off. Towards the end, I told him if he wanted me to, I would take my underwear off. And he acted extremely happy, and so I did. He always said to me was, I could never tell anybody about this stuff because if I did, he would lose his wife, he would lose his job, and I didn't want to hurt him. One of the next times that I went to his house, he wanted to teach me what making love was. He started to touch me and take my clothes off, and I remember it hurting really bad. When it was done, he told me that I now belong to him. There was a point that when I went there, he had another guy there, and this time he was telling me I was supposed to make love to this guy. I was not okay with this at all, and he dragged me over to where his kitchen was, and he pulled out a knife, and he told me, I will make love to this man. So I did what he said. We continued in this manner for about a year before things got even worse. I remember being taken to a small white house. He brought other men in, and it seemed like each one had a different fetish of some sort. They would tie me up to these poles to where I couldn't move. So a lot of the abuse that they did had a lot to do with scripture, and this was my purpose in life. One guy in particular, he would hurt me with crosses and would often even refer to himself as Jesus. They had people dress up as if they were God and would tell me that I needed to worship him in awful ways. I visited this White House off and on for at least the next couple of years. When I graduated from 8th grade and went on to high school, I really felt like this chapter of my life was over, but then I found out later that it wasn't. In 2014, I came across a Facebook post of a friend of mine whose daughter had done a painting. In the bottom of the post, she wrote, "Thank you," to the same man that had groomed and abused me. In that moment, my whole world fell apart. I remember immediately running to the bathroom and throwing up 6, 7 times that day, realizing I'm not the only one.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.